Welcome into the St. Louis Cardinals Daily podcast. My name is Andrew Teuscher, and today we're here to talk more about your Redbirds as we do every single day. The Christmas came, it's gone, but the offseason, it never ends. And for the Cardinals, the offseason's been a little bit of Christmas all throughout. Even though we're not out there signing guys constantly and making the big win now moves, selling is a good way to get your name in lots of articles to keep the news really coming. I mean, I like to make fun of teams like the Chicago White Sox, who actually just signed a nice guy out of the Japanese league, who I think the Cardinals could have used. But, beside the point, teams like that, you never hear stuff from. It's cool that our Cardinals are still active. Chaim Bloom is still doing a lot. So it is like Christmas every day still. Speaking of which, the offseason never ends, and Bloom has come out right before Christmas is when I saw this article to say that the Cardinals are looking to add righty power to preferably our outfield, but to this lineup for sure, and I think this makes a ton of sense for our Redbirds. Again, he says ideally an outfielder, as that's clearly where the spot is open for the Cardinals. Most of our talent right now is in the infield. I mean, there's a logjam of, we still have Brendan Donovan, so we mark him up. We just got rid of Contreras, but we still have Burley, we still have Gorman, we still have Weatherholt, we still have Arenado on the team. Probably won't be there next year, but who knows? So JC's a guy who's been up. Tons of dudes in the infield who we're trying to find spots for. So I think it makes most sense in the outfield. And the article from MLB Trade Rumors, which I quoted this from, mentions that as an obvious fit. And MLB Trade Rumors, just for reference, also references guys like John Denton. So these are real rumors out there being swirled around. The Cardinals need power. They need power bad. The leader in home runs last year had 20 home runs, and that's a guy who is no longer on our ball club and just got shipped down to Boston, that being Wilson Contreras. So the Cardinals definitely need some more power, specifically power from the right side to mash some left-handed pitching. The Cardinals have some nice lefty power, actually. Nolan Gorman's a great bit of power from that side of the plate. The Cardinals do have one good thumper. I was looking at this to try to find numbers. Do the Cardinals have anybody who hits lefties well? I know you assume it'll be a righty. You never know. Splits are weird. Ivan Herrera hits lefties. I don't know if you guys have looked at it. He is a 660 slug against left-handed pitching. I'm excited to follow that more next year and see if guys start walking him when he faces lefties, because that is an absurd number if he keeps up. He's by far the best hitter on our team. And, I should take the time now to out myself for some egregious error I've committed. Comment section. You keep me humble. I'm looking. I'm watching. You guys keep watching me and let me know when I mess up. It is Ivan Herrera. I ran into a Ron Burgundy moment. I looked over at my screen where my notes are, and I saw just Ivan written out. Too many times I've seen Ivan said Ivan. It's Ivan. Ivan Herrera is the man's name. Thank you guys for keeping me honest. Stay on top of me. Pronunciations, I try to get them right, I promise. I don't just ignore them. But anyway, Ivan Herrera, great guy at hitting lefties, but after that, the Cardinals could use some help. And we've got a ton of lefties in general in the lineup, not even just guys who thump left-handed pitching. Gorman's a guy who's going to probably get more playing time as soon as Arenado is moved, or Donovan. Weatherholt, JJ Weatherholt's another lefty that's bound to come up. Everyone's excited for him, whether he plays third or second base or some DH. He's a lefty as well. Lars Nootbaar is a guy who we're not sure if will be on the team next year, but right now he's projected to be, and he's a left-handed bat. And Victor Scott's a left-handed bat. And some guys that are just on the way up, maybe some dudes who played a little bit at the end last year with the expanded rosters, or beating down the door in AAA to get to the majors. So guys, if injuries happened, they'd be coming on up. Jimmy Crooks, catcher, we saw him a little bit last year, left-handed bat. Brian Torres, second baseman, or currently our AAA second baseman, left-handed bat. Our top third baseman, left-handed bat, Cesar Pareto, we saw him for a little bit. And Nathan Church, who we saw for a little bit. An outfield depth piece, also a left-handed bat. So we need some guys who thump lefties, some power from the right side to threaten bullpens so they can't just play the matchup game. Because let's be honest, bullpens, why this is such a big deal to have power from that side is bullpens, they're not going to be as worried about people coming in and hitting them around in a close game against a contender. if you're going to get to a bullpen, it's often going to be off a jack, because the guys who come in when you're actually in a competitive game that you're trying to win, that's their best pitchers. And if they're bringing in their lefty in the 8th inning that's going to get your lefties out, he's probably going to be pretty good. So unless Herrera's coming up, we need a guy who can thump a little bit. And luckily, there's some guys out there I think the Cardinals could turn to. Not a ton of guys, especially in the price range that the Cardinals are going to be going for, although we'll talk more about another guy here in a bit. But some guys out there, some options we should go over, because I like to provide options for you guys. And MLB Trade Rumors in that article lists some guys that I think make some sense. Don't worry, I vetted them for you. I got you guys. Austin Hayes is a wonderful option, I think, for the Cardinals. Cardinals fans maybe know the name because he was with the Cincinnati Reds last season. He's mostly been a Baltimore Oriole most of his career for many, many years. Then got traded in 2024 to be just what the Cardinals wanted him to be, a guy who mashes left-handed pitching in 2024. And then in 2025, he signed a 1-year deal with Cincinnati. And this next year, he's projected to sign another 1-year, $7 million deal. He could get more, but that's what Fangraphs puts him at. And for that money, Cardinals got that kind of money. We could easily bring a guy in like that. He's entering his age 30 season. Last year, he hit 15 home runs, which is modest. He also had a modest slash line of 266, 315, and 453. However, look at the guy when he was hitting against left-handed pitching. A 549 slug and a 949 OPS versus lefties. That will get the job done. Not quite Herrera numbers, but definitely numbers that'll be serviceable against left-handed pitching. His career high in home runs is 22, and that was in 2021, but that's when he was playing every single day. And let's be honest, if we bring him in, he would probably just platoon, pinch hit a whole bunch. The Cardinals need a guy like that desperately. Think about when we had Albert Pujols back a couple of years ago, coming in, mashing left-handed pitching, just terrorizing it truly. Like, if you now with the rule of you have to face 3 batters out of the bullpen, the Cardinals were just being mean, putting in Pujols, who seemed to always get a hit against lefties. I think he'd be great for that, would be Austin Hayes. Another good option for the Cardinals would be Miguel Andujar, who you may recognize as being a mostly career Yankee, but has bounced around, being traded a couple times, signing places. So he's with the Yankees for 5.5 years. When in 2018, he hit 27 home runs, and he's had some issues staying healthy, which has produced some bad numbers. He's been to Pittsburgh, he's been to Oakland, and additionally was most recently on the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati Reds, shout out you. They almost made the postseason. The Reds did make the postseason due to savvy moves like this, finding guys who platoon well. Andujar is projected per Fangraphs to sign a 1-year, $5 million deal. Again, I don't got it, but the Cardinals got that kind of cash to throw around, and he's entering his age 31 season. Profiles a lot like Austin Hayes, which is why I think he is a solid fit. Overall, he had an 822 OPS last year. So overall, as a hitter, he's actually been better than what Austin Hayes was. So maybe even some upside. A guy who, again, was battling injuries. Maybe if we let him play it out a little bit more. Andujar in that year in 2018 had a better season than Hayes has ever had. So there really is potential there. He did just hit 10 home runs last year. Played a very limited amount. Really just platooning. But he hit versus lefties. Had a 389 average, a 409 on base percentage, and a 578 slug against lefties. That's going to get the job done. I'd love to see that on the Cardinals. And you might be asking yourself, why do the Cardinals need to bother bringing in a guy like Hayes or Andujar who will sign a 1-year deal to be on the team during a year we don't expect to win? I keep saying this. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. We're still going to be bad next year. I fully believe that unless something hits that's not supposed to hit. Projected to be bad next year. Why you still want to have competent pieces is you want to see how you can build success. I'll put it this way. If the entire team is hot garbage, you don't know what to build off of. You don't know what pieces are going to be good. You don't know, how many times do we hear, if J.J. Weatherhook comes up, he was so good last year, but we needed someone to back him up. I got to hit in the 4 hole. You need pieces in order to see how the team comes together. Now, ideally, in the future, we're not desperate for an Austin Hayes or a Miguel Andujar to be a guy who may play more often than not. Frankly, they'd probably play a fair amount in our lineup currently. Ideally, those are bench players. And yeah, hopefully we'd be signing guys that can thump lefties and righties and can play every day. But in the meantime, you got to moneyball it. You got to platoon it. You want to see what bits of success would make sense together. You need competence to let the team grow into, to attract free agents, to let the fans actually want and have fun. Because I want the Cardinals to win next year. I want them to have fun. So we should be trying to add talent as long as it still provides flexibility. Speaking of that, and guys who could mash lefties, I want to talk about an article that I saw via Viva Alberto's. Excellent place to go read some articles. Again, if you are literate, unlike myself, I'm trying to learn how to read in 2026. It's my New Year's resolution, so I'm trying to read more articles. But Viva Alberto is a great place to get some of that. Mentioned that the Cardinals have, at least MLB Twitter is out there saying the Cardinals, should they sign Bichette? Now I'm going to get right out in front of this. This is definitely probably some stuff swirling on Twitter by the media machine to get clicks and likes and all sorts of attention. But I kind of looked into it, and I don't think it makes no sense at all for the Cardinals, so I thought it was at least worth addressing since Bichette's still out there. We're going to be turning the calendar here soon, and one of the biggest free agents still hasn't signed. Now, a couple of big free agents still haven't signed. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but I'll talk about why the Cardinals could and why they won't. The article from Viva Alberto's mentions that Mr. Bichette is projected to sign a 5-year, $130 to $150 million a year. That is per the ESPN's projections. And he played mostly shortstop next year, but he said he's open to playing second base, which would be why it would make sense for the Cardinals to potentially bring him in, because Mason Wynn is locked down shortstop, Gold Glover. I mean, could win a Platinum Glove at some point. The defense is that great. That's his number one tool. So we're willing to play second base because the defense has been down at short anyway. Here's why the Cardinals could potentially make this move. Again, put your minds here, guys. An infield. You buy a ticket. You go to opening day, and you're excited, and you get to watch at first base Alec Burleson, solid hitter, maybe borderline all-star next year. And then at second base, you see walking up the Bichette, the Cardinal, new to this year, who the front office went out and signed and said he's going to be our guy along with some of these other infielders to be their face of our team. Oh, and right next to him is Mason Wynn. The guy's turning two at second base. The elite combo could be really good defensively. I think Bichette could be great at second base. Oh, and then at third base, oh yeah, just the top 5 prospect in baseball who's been mashing in the minors, looks to be a potential cornerstone of our year next year. That gets you excited. The outfield's still a hot mess. Don't look that far. Just stop your eyes where the dirt ends there in the infield. But that could be an exciting infield. That'd be one of the best infields in baseball if guys grow like they're supposed to. Won't be right off the bat, but could be one of the best infields in baseball. Give us something to watch. He's a projected 4-WAR player next year, is Bichette. And according to Fangraphs numbers, now look at WAR on Baseball Reference, it'll be different than it would be maybe on Fangraphs. The Cardinals haven't had a 4-WAR player since in 2022 when we had Nato, Goldie, and Edman all do it. Hey, guess what? We were pretty good that year. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Dude's a career 294, 337, 469 slash, has a career high of 29 homers and 102 RBIs. Clearly a great hitter. Here's why it won't happen. I think it's pretty obvious. We'd have to fork over $30+ million for 5 years. If you're looking at, again, the projection of $130 to $150 million for 5 years, the Cardinals, if they're going to bring in a free agent, it's going to have to be paying a lot because we're not good this next year. They're going to be the best player on the team if we bring him in at that number. And why it wouldn't make total sense is clearly you need good players to have a good team, so that's why it would make sense to sign him. It would make us better next year. I think it would make us potentially contend for the wild card. But forking over that kind of money and preventing that level of flexibility so that we can compete for the wild card doesn't make a ton of sense. Let's be honest. The lineup isn't what's going to hold us back dramatically next year. There's hope for our lineup. It's pitching, and Bichette does not fix that. A couple years from now, the Cardinals might be turning that around. So Bichette wouldn't fix it. He would be exciting, but we need to maintain that flexibility because what happens if he gets hurt? What happens if he flops, flipping positions and going to a new place for the first time? You never know. He'll be on the wrong side of 30 by the time this deal ends. It's not that Bichette wouldn't make us a better ball club, but we need to maintain flexibility because pitching could figure itself out. But what happens if we need to turn around and send $150 million to an ace next offseason? Let's leave ourselves open for that. And leave yourselves open for more content on the St. Louis Cardinals Daily podcast, where I'm here to cover your Redbirds every single day.